Hello, I'm Josh George. We're going to talk about 2018 college football. We're going to start with the ACC and the Coastal Division. Pittsburgh, I have them at 5-7 this year. The reason for that is 2 non-conference losses, and they only return 4 starters on offense. I think they'll lose to both UCF and Penn State. Now, to UVA, I have Virginia at 6-6. I think they can make it back to 6-6 even after that embarrassing loss in the Military Bowl to Navy. Now, to Duke. Cliff Kingsbury, I think he's a consistent enough coach to bring him back to a bowl game, and 6-6. Now, I think UNC has the turnaround of the season for the ACC, going from 3-9 to 7-5. The reason for that is defense. I think they're going to have the most consistent defense in the Coastal Division. They only have juniors and seniors starting this year, and it just sets them up really well for success. So UNC at 7-5. Now, Georgia Tech has 9 starters returning on offense, including Marshall at quarterback. I think that gives them a really good chance with their running game to have a really good season and a turnaround as well. Only having 5 wins last season, I have them at 8-4 this season. Now, Virginia Tech, I think they'll have a slight bit of a drop-off from last year. They are missing their 2 big special teams returners at Style and Storman, and it's for that reason that I have them at 8-4. Now, Miami, I have them going to the conference championship game. I have them at 10-2. They struggled late last season. I think they'll do really good at the beginning of this season. They do play LSU and Arlington early, but the 2 games that I really have circled is at Virginia Tech and at Georgia Tech in November. And that's why I have the Canes at 10-2 going into the conference championship game. Now, to the Atlantic Division, I think Syracuse is in trouble. I think Dino Babras is going to lose his job when the Syracuse only go 2-10 this year. Now, Wake Forest, they had the worst offense in the nation. Their yards per game was ranked 125th. That's why I think Wake Forest will be 4-8 this season. Now to Boston College. I think Boston College has the best offensive line in the ACC. And I think that offensive line will be consistent enough to get Boston College 6 wins this season. So I have Boston College at 6-6. Now, Louisville, without Lamar Jackson, I think they'll have a drop-off from an 8-win team last season to a 6-6 win team this season. Now, North Carolina State, I think that's the team that can beat Clemson if a team's going to do it in this division. Now, I think they'll be 6-0 October 20th when they go to face Clemson in Death Valley. I think that game, though, with Finley at quarterback having a lot of success early in the season, I think that's where they could drop off and the wheels could fall off the bus, and a 6-0 team turns to 8-4 going into bowl season. Now, then Florida State, the worst offensive line in the ACC. They gave up 32 sacks in 2017, 36 sacks in 2016. Although they have tons of talent outside of that offensive line, I think that offensive line limits them to an 8-4 season. Now, the Clemson Tigers, I do not have them losing a game in the ACC, not even in the conference championship game to Miami. That will put Miami at 10-3. Now, I have Clemson going 12-1. The reason is they play 2 SEC teams, Texas A&M and South Carolina. I think they could most likely and will lose one of those games. I am Josh George. This is College Football 2018.